Hello, my name is Gina Taylor, Executive Director of Greenbriar Children's Center. What an honor it is to greet you on our 60th anniversary celebration. Celebrating 60 years of hope and love, that's what Greenbriar has meant to over 25,000 families and children in the Chatham County, Savannah community. Greenbriar continues to have great relevance in this community. We look forward to continuing to be impactful and making a difference in the lives of families and children.
In May of 1943, 5 young black women of Savannah organized Gamma Sigma Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and immediately began a way of being a service to the community. In June of 1943, a well-known Savannah white woman, Mrs. Adeline Graham, died, leaving a sizable estate to relatives and local charities. A small bequest was earmarked to whomever might start a movement to establish an orphanage for Negro children. The sorority sought the assistance of Dr. Ralph Mark Gilbert, then pastor of First African Baptist Church, who offered the use of his church facility for a meeting of church representatives along with sorority members. On June 8, 1944, Greenbriar Children's Center Incorporated came into being, a corporation to be known as Greenbriar Children's Center Incorporated, for the purpose of conducting a home for colored orphans and destitute children. Initially operating in 1949, Greenbriar originally was located at Hunter Field, but later relocated to 5 small rented houses in Carver Village provided by the City of Savannah. Greenbriar was accepted into the United Community Services Incorporated, now known as the United Way of the Coastal Empire, in 1951. In January of 1953, Mrs. Doris Webb Roberts was appointed the first executive director of Greenbriar. During Mrs. Roberts' tenure, many programs were established. Wendy's Play School was one of them. The mission of the school was geared toward keeping families together. Wendy's was the first daycare facility in Georgia to receive federal funds under the Title IV-A Act of the Social Security Administration. In 1953, the rented houses were placed for sale, and the Board of Directors of Greenbriar took a definite step for purchasing land for a permanent location. Judge Jack Jones of the Chatham County Commissioners led the charge to have all institutional care for dependent and neglected Negro children be given under the administration of Greenbriar Children's Center Incorporated. Early in 1954, Greenbriar purchased a 17-acre tract of land for $17,000. This site was suitably located next to the George Durant Elementary School. The new Greenbriar came into existence, and the 5 buildings were ready to receive children by October 1st of 1955. Mrs. Gertrude Green was Greenbriar's first social worker who performed evaluations and developed an outline for training program staff. She also served on the clinical team for the Greenbriar Children's Center. In 1962, a total of 164 children had been served by Greenbriar. Greenbriar had long established a well-integrated board of directors and staff. The organization, which had begun as a service to Negro children, now served all races. In 1965, Greenbriar began its first outreach program under the auspices of the Economic Opportunity Authority. It was a foster home daycare program for infants. And in 1969, an anonymous donor gave $80,000 for the construction of a recreational building for Greenbriar, which was later named in honor of Mrs. Doris Roberts. In February of 1971, Wendy's Play School, an off-campus extension of Greenbriar, opened its doors. And in 1973, Greenbriar was asked to assume operation of 7 Model Cities daycare centers. The program served a total of 500 children of all races. In 1989, Yvette Johnson Hagens takes the helm as the second executive director of Greenbriar Children's Center. During Mrs. Hagens' tenure, Several programs were added to the organization. They included the Outreach Family Counseling Family Preservation Program, Independent Living, Basic Center for Runaway Homeless Youth, Georgia Pre-K Program, and Project Safe Place. Greenbriar became accredited by the Council on Accreditation, known as COA. Supportive housing and transitional living programs were also established. Greenbriar began operation of the only Project Safe program in Chatham County. Will and Jada Smith visited the campus of Greenbriar and spent time with children. They also contributed $50,000 to Greenbriar through the Will and Jada Family Foundation. A capital campaign was held for campus capital improvements. The $3.5 million campaign yielded the following improvements to the Greenbriar facility: new maintenance facility building, girls' cottage, grounds improvement, and a renovated emergency shelter. Gina Taylor became Greenbriar's third executive director in January of 2004. The supportive housing program for homeless youth ages 18 through 21 became accredited by QESST in 2005 and was recognized by the Georgia Coalition to End Homelessness as a best practice. Greenbriar has always been blessed to have a multi-talented, multi-disciplined staff who works as a team to accomplish the missions of Greenbriar.